All right, all right. It's time. Let's get this thing moving, right? I think it's this button over here. I think it's that one. Usually is. Hey there, friends. See, look, the dog ran in and messed up my screen. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is June 4th, 2025, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? I'm seeing a bunch of comments. Folks here early. This is great. Thank you so much. Let me get, I don't have the YouTube chat room up over here. Let me get that up and running so we can see our friends on YouTube as well. Thank you so much to the folks that are watching over there. Let me head over here. Let's talk to the folks in the chat room. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. Let me say hello to Napalm Codes. Frank is here. Cool music. Yeah, I commissioned that music a couple years ago now, and that was written specific for me based on my specifications, my request. So I'm really happy with it. I really am. Phil, good to see you. Hello, C Sharp Titan. Good evening to you in Melbourne, Australia. Billy Cool with a big wave. C Sharp Titan, wishing well, and that my daughter did well yesterday. Yeah, things are going to progress slowly over the next few months, and this is a problem that isn't going to go away for a while. So we're going to we're going to be working to get through that, and it will hopefully eventually be taken care of, and that will hopefully be it is a Penn State Creamery hat, and you know what? Both of my apps here aren't working. Guacamole.
Guacamole just resubscribed for 51 months.
Hello.
Good morning, all.
Thank you so much. 51 months with us. Let me try rerunning over here. Bad off error. But that's different. That's not the chat. And then when I bring up, yeah, and the proxy's having a problem connecting to it too. I'm gonna have to do some digging on that later. We might not be able to run hat commands. Where is it? Over here. Dear Lord, there's a lot of stuff running in the background. There's that one. Yeah, that's the only one I see. Greetings to you, BMson. Hello, 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Work almost done. Fantastic. Glad you're joining me as you wrap up your day. Was it written by the music written by Carl? No. By another artist on Twitch. So, yeah, the hat command isn't going to work here for a bit today. It's not connecting to OBS properly, and I can't tell why, and that's going to take a little bit of debugging to work through. So I'm just going to kill that. And I'm getting weird encryption errors coming off of connections over to Twitch. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend some time debugging that. We'll do that off stream another time. Hey there. So thank you so much, Guacamole, for the resub. PowerShell Freak, great to see me so often. Yeah, I'm trying to go for a couple hours each day this week to make up a little bit for the time that we lost in May. We'll see how things go over the next week or so, and how much, if I can really sustain this pace. And that's the key here, is sustainable pace streaming. Thank you so much for the good wishes to the daughter. Very nice. Just finished all the ice cream you brought back 2 weeks ago when you were at University Park. Yes. So it's a shame the hat command isn't going to work. But this is a badge. This is from the Penn State Creamery. They make ice cream. They make other dairy products there. And the story goes that they taught Ben and Jerry how to make ice cream at the Penn State Creamery, and they got a B in the class. So if you like Penn State if you like Ben and Jerry's ice cream, you can level up and try Penn State's ice cream, and it is very rich, very very rich. So it really is fantastic. Let me get some music playing here in the background, and we'll dive in. I'm going to go with the EDM playlist today because I want to go a little bit faster through some things, not be as relaxed. So let me see down here a little bit. Let's go with this. This is called Trusted. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. You can use it wherever you'd like: YouTube, Twitch, anywhere on the internet. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for creating this music we're listening to today. Grilled Stickies, freaking amazing. Yes. Unfortunately, I can't have grilled stickies anymore because gluten. The peanut butter swirl ice cream is amazing. Yes. They make an ice cream. It's not available all the time, but it's available like 2 or 3 times a year, called Crazy Charlie. That is phenomenal. And if that's not available, I fall back to bittersweet mint, the mint chocolate chip flavor. And I got it only once every now and again, man. Ooh. Keeping pace is the one thing that makes me hesitate so much, stream. I use, and we talked about this briefly yesterday. I use my streaming time as time to learn, as time to interact, to work on projects that I'm going to use as part of demos, as part of content. The things that I learn, not necessarily all of SharpSight, but things that we learn along the way, I'll use as part of content in blog posts, in demo sessions, going forward. So I reuse a lot of the content that you see me talk about and do live here in other things that we work on. So keeping pace is something that I can kind of cheat on because I reuse so much of the content. So, like the things that we've been learning and doing with Copilot, totally reusing that in other things that we're doing at work. C# Titan mentioning Copilot that John. Ah, yes. So, here's the deal. I bought that domain yesterday. I don't have anything running on it yet, but I think there's going to be some fun that we can have with that, creating a series of growing, changing content over there. Our friend John Galloway, he saw my mention of it, and he was asking me about it yesterday afternoon. And I think I'm going to try generating and deploying at least the first set of content out there over the next 2-3 days to get something out there to announce what it is, what we're going to be doing with it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. More on that as I get it rolled out here. And of course, once it's running, I'll be sharing the progress and some of the inside bits that are happening with Copilot that John over the next as it grows and as it changes. I might even put a panel down below on the Twitch wall about Copilot that John, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And gosh, that even has me thinking I should reach out to our friend Martin Woodward at GitHub and talk to him about my ideas and where I want to go with Copilot that John. Can I get Charlie to fix it? And the Azure Q&A service is gone. Yeah, I'm going to need to do some... I'm getting errors coming off of that as folks ask questions. Yeah, I'm going to need to do some rebuilding here on... Rebuilding, fixing, changing on my chatbot. But how much do I really want to do when I'm going to roll out Charlie? So there's a combination of 2 or 3 things. But can I get Charlie to fix it? Charlie's not that sophisticated. It's going to get sophisticated, but it's not that sophisticated. So continuing around the horn here, let me recap what we did yesterday with SharpSight, and then let's dive in, talk about some next steps, and evaluate what we've completed and what we can do next. Because I think we're almost at we're going to be at a pivot point here soon where we're going to be able to start really building some plugins, some other features for SharpSight, hopefully in a very quick way. So let me head over to the browser over here and we can talk more about this. So, yeah, see, it's right over there. This, of course, is SharpSight. This is the issues list for it. This is that CMS that we started building a couple months ago, back in October, November, that's intended to be our .NET take, our Blazor take on WordPress, with a plugin mechanism, a plugin system that is going to allow you to extend and grow a SharpSight install in any way that you need it to, but with a foundation that hopefully is very quick, very easy to set up, so that anybody at any level, any skill level, can take this off the shelf and say, yeah, I want a website, give me this theme, and let me start writing some content. And it starts building it out very easily for you in a much more user-friendly, but at the same time, secure sophistication, modern sophistication that, quite frankly, WordPress will never have because of its anchoring in PHP and some of those technologies that it takes advantage of. EDTV says they're going to have a .NET Day in Switzerland. I'm sad that, and they're sad that I'm not on the list as a speaker. I don't get asked to speak at many events. I don't. I'd love to have an opportunity to speak at different events. They've over the last 6 months, they've encouraged us to engage and participate and offer to speak at different events. If you know of events that are happening out there, .NET events, web events, that you'd like to see me at, drop me a line. Let me know, and we can start looking at submitting, engaging, and participating in some of these events. So, yeah, going forward, let's start getting Fritz outside the box here into some local places. So, you totally did an AFK for a minute, came back and was wondering why your mouse wasn't moving. Yeah, that was my cursor, wasn't it? So, yeah, maybe next time. But here's the thing. I can reach so many more of you out there here than I can when I travel and go to an event. That's just a numbers thing. That's an accessibility numbers thing. And that's why we're going to do workshops on stream here in July, because I can't get to everybody's country, everybody's town to teach about .NET Aspire, to teach about AI. So that's why we're going to do some of these workshops coming up in July, so that everybody has an opportunity to ask questions, participate, and have a good time learning something together. Patty boy, hey, how you doing there? You're not too late to the party. We're just a couple minutes in here. We're going to recap where we left off yesterday, and then I end. Right?
And then?
There it is. we're gonna dive in and see some next steps that we left off on. Hello there, Mythin. How are you? I need to order some more subscriber badges. I think they leave off at like 3.5 years. I think is the furthest out that I have. And there's some of you out there that have 5, 6 years, 7 years subscribing. Like, I've got to improve that. So, hey, Kim, good to see you. Yeah, because I restarted the bot here, it probably lost the audio connection. Let me go refresh that. That's this one over here. There are all kinds of updates that I have made to how the chatbot works that are going to be rolling out in Charlie, and I need to spend more time on Charlie at some point. So, how am I doing? I'm doing better today. Thank you for asking. We're gonna have some fun moving forward with these next steps in Sharpsight. Why did I have to look? Like I forgot what I'm working on. Here we go. So, Patty's catching up on previous VODs on YouTube. Had a question, not a problem. And one of the things that Charlie's going to help me do is isolate and edit down previous videos so that I have a summary. I've tried to hire editors 3 or 4 times to help with breaking down my live streams into YouTube content, and it just hasn't worked out every time. So Charlie's going to help with that, and you'll see that as we get into there. I think you've seen that one of the features Charlie has is when folks create a clip. Charlie's not running now. When folks create a clip, it automatically grabs that clip and shares it to Discord. There's more like that that's coming. So to finish your question, this entry-level question, not a problem, never a problem. Why use a slug to find posts in database and not incremental ID number GUID? That's a great question, Patty. Let me go back over to the chat window so that we can see that right here. So here's the deal. When you create a link, a descriptive link at the top of on the address bar, if you use just a number as the ID of the article to present, that's not something that registers and lands very well with the search engines. The search engines like descriptive URLs. It's a minor SEO thing, and what it also does is it prevents that type of URL hacking where, oh, I'm reading article 1. Let me see what article 2 is, and I'll go edit the address bar and change it to 2. Oh, that 2 was really great. Let me see what 3 is, and go edit the address bar and change it to 3. By using a slug, you end up with a very descriptive address as right, the very descriptive part of the URL that is received and looks better in search engines, in social media posts. It looks better and it feels a little bit more connected in those various resources. So that's why I chose and I moved forward with a slug on that. You'll see if you go to Stack Overflow, Stack Overflow does the same thing. They take questions and they put that slug in the URL when you click into the question. Let me continue here. C# Titan asks, does Microsoft choose who speaks at what events around the world? I know Steve Sanderson was in Melbourne last month. Would be awesome if Fritz could come to Melbourne to do an event. No, Microsoft doesn't choose who speaks at which third-party events. The third-party event managers will reach out and reach out to speakers and invite them, or put together a call for content and ask for people to submit sessions, but typically with Microsoft speakers to a .NET technology event, they'll invite specific folks that they're interested in having speak. And I've said this before. I'm in the array, in the collection of .NET speakers. I'm not in the starting lineup. There are people that are in much higher demand than me. Scott Hanselman, Scott Hunter, Steve Sanderson, Maddie Montequilla, David Fowler, James Montemagno. These folks are in much higher demand than me. I rarely get invited to speak at events, and it's look. I'm on the bench. I'm one of the first folks to come off the bench and help out the team. Unlike most of those folks, though, I can speak about any one of our .NET topics. You see me talking about and working with Blazor here. You see me working with .NET Aspire. You see me coding in C#. You see me working with Entity Framework. You see me deploying and working with things on Azure. I can cover and deliver sessions on all of those topics. And I have. And I can fluently swap back and forth on them. And I have sessions prepared on all of those topics. I've shown up at events and folks have said, oh my gosh, speaker so-and-so they got sick last night. They're not going to be able to do their session today. We need somebody to fill in. Does anybody have content that they can fill in? I'm like, sure. Here's my list of sessions, and I will spur of the moment jump in and deliver content. So I've tried to make myself very flexible and available for that, but going to speak at what? In Australia is something that I have never been asked to do. 1 second here. In Australia, Asia, Africa, South America, I've never been asked to speak at an event in any of those locations. It'll happen someday. I'm not in a rush. Hey, DJ Deepex, cheers to you in Germany. How you doing there? I was the keynote speaker for German Developer Days in 2018, I want to say. So that was good. Does Agent Mode in Copilot Chat get full admin access to your machine? No. You can restrict it from running commands. Agent Mode in Copilot will, by default, prompt you for each command that it's going to run that isn't editing text in the project that's open. It will prompt you on those. It's up to you to say, yes, you're allowed to run commands during this session, or you're always allowed to run commands. You have control over that, and it does not have admin access. It never has admin access to your machine. Patty Boy has done a few in-house database systems, so SEO never was an issue. Yeah, totally agree, Patty Boy. You're right. When you're doing in-house systems and you're browsing to product, whatever, yeah, you probably put a product ID number, maybe a product SKU, or some other internal unique identifier to whatever those things are. Yeah, you wouldn't be using a slug because it's not public facing. So what about the list of celebrity.net speakers? What about who do you consider a celebrity.net speaker? Like it's taken me 10 years to get a speaking slot at Microsoft Build. Actually, yeah, 10. So I would say 11 if my anniversary date was before May, but no, it's been 10 years for me to finally get a speaking slot, and even then, the recordings and everything are gone. So, Dub Television, how you doing there? Speaking of those Azure sessions, yeah. I find that job postings for development positions have a lot of requirements for Azure stuff. What courses or resources are great for not just learning, but using Azure practically? That's a great question, and we just went to ads. I'm going to pause on responding to Dub Television for just a few minutes here to make sure that that they're here when I cover that. DJ Deepak says I should come over to Germany and do a presentation so that you get to meet me in real life. Absolutely. Always happy to meet folks. Alu the Crow is a Celebrity.net speaker. There we go. See that? This year they'll have Gerald versus Lewis, but for now I see he's the only speaker from Microsoft. Cool. I spoke in Zurich. I want to say 2019. I was in Zurich. I spoke at a Red Hat event at the beginning of the week in Brno, in Czech Republic. And then I took a train? No, I didn't. I flew to Zurich, and I gave a talk in Zurich, and then I flew home from Zurich. Did I fly? I think I flew out of Vienna. Yeah, and I took the train back and forth. So, you're from Zurich? Hey, terrific. Yeah, I'm going to pause just for the next 30 seconds before I finish answering Dub Television's question to make sure that they are able to see the answer to the question. We're still broadcasting over there on YouTube. Thank you to the folks on YouTube that are watching. Hello, hello. And I do still have the ideas that I wrote yesterday that I'm going to put into Charlie and some other things here. I feel like we need a quote command too. Some of the things that we say and do on stream would be fun to kind of log and have available somewhere. Frank spoke a little bit here and there. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So let me go back to Dub Television's question. What courses or resources are great for learning, not just learning, but using Azure practically? I think the tutorials that are on LearnMicrosoft.com are pretty well grounded on practical examples. I've given a number of more practical uses of Azure. I've given a number of talks, sessions here. I think the challenge on saying something is practical on Azure is difficult to anchor because there are literally hundreds of services. And quite frankly, for any one requirement you might have, there are a half dozen, there are 5 or 6 different services that do the same thing, that meet that requirement. Great example. You want to queue interactions from one system to the next. You want to put a queue in there so you can have a little bit of resilience. Maybe you're building a CQRS type of architecture. Well, there's a half dozen different queuing systems that are available to you out there. Between Azure Storage Queues, Azure Service Bus, Azure Event Grid, Azure PubSub, which one do you want to use? And there's a lot of options out there. So it's different, it's weird, it's something hard to say, well, this is practical. Well, if you have a small budget, well, Azure Storage Queues is practical for you. If you have requirements for a high level of resiliency and you don't need low latency, Service Bus might be good for you. If you need extremely low latency and you don't care if you have to send messages multiple times, Event Grid might be good for you, and so on and so forth. And it's having those discussions and questions that make the concept of practicality different. It's different for everybody. So, one second here. There we go. Continuing, let me catch up here. C Sharp Titan then asks, when I speak live at events, do I ever get nervous going on stage? Every time. Every time. I get nervous going on stage every time that I speak. And it's not the size of the room that I get nervous about. It's whether my content is going to land well, is going to be received and heard well by the audience. Are my demos going to work well? So every time I get nervous. So I'm not going to read the German, but I have a decent idea of what's going on there. Hey, Texas 2010, good to see you. So, yeah. Picture my audience as Python developers and I'll be more confident. No. Do I ever feel that I've delivered enough? Yes. And I feel like that happens when questions tail off. When folks are done and they walk away, that's when I feel like I've delivered enough. People that have seen me deliver sessions in person, you know that I stick around to talk to everybody till the last person is done asking questions, talking about their particular problems, interactions that they have at their organization. So I am very accessible at events, and I make sure that I'm accessible because that's what I'm there to do. So, what was the hardest thing about my first performance in front of an audience? What did I do to give myself the confidence to go on stage? My first talk was a 15-minute lightning talk at a Philly.net user group, so my local Philadelphia area user group. It was a 15-minute lightning talk, and I was presenting and talking about modifications that I made to the .NET state server, and how that improved the way that we built and managed interactions across our web server farm. I kind of blacked out looking at the audience and thinking about there's people watching me. I focused completely on the screens in front of me, talking about what was on my slides, showing the demo. I got extremely focused on that because I knew that was my comfort. That was my... Yeah. That was something that I had prepared for. I knew inside and out, and it made me comfortable to do. So, moving forward from there, getting more relaxed and interacting with the audience and answering questions, doing things like this have significantly helped my stage presence, my interaction, the way that I will ad hoc talk about product and deliver content on stage at events. It's something, this interaction here is extremely valuable. So, I need to give a talk at JavaScript conferences. We'll get there. Texas, I think there's a place in my future where I'm going to give a talk at a JavaScript conference talking about Aspire. I think that's coming. Papa Mir says, I've been working in Node.js and Laravel for back-end development, but I always found C# and ASP.NET interesting. The thing is, I never found a good and complete resource to learn C# and ASP.NET from zero to advanced topics. Any suggestions? Learn Microsoft Com. We have tons of videos there. We have tutorials there. The videos on the .NET channel are really good. Yeah. Oh, you want me to put on a different hand? How you doing there, DJ Vortex? Oh my gosh, it's been a long time. How are you? Non-online people won't be able to communicate it, but yes, live streaming is a whole different game. Yes. Yeah, Jesus, I think it is. Yeah, you are completely correct. There are people who are phenomenal public speakers who can't do this. This is more akin to hosting a radio show, right? Hosting a call-in radio show. And it takes a certain skill set, a certain ability to think on your feet, respond to the interactions that some of those folks don't have. And there's a confidence, just like there's a confidence going from here to speaking in public on stage. There's a confidence challenge that happens there. Let me see here. So the crowd working gives, pushes, advances me the confidence. Oh, yes. You feel like that link is quite complete. Let me just double check which one you jumped into. Take a look at the get started areas there. They're pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty good jumping off point. Gives the ability to communicate without live feedback from the audience, navigate in and out of topics without a hiccup. Honestly, I feel like when I deliver an in-person talk at an event where I'm on a stage, it's like I think of it as I'm delivering a live stream and there's nobody in chat. Or it's like I'm recording a YouTube video and I'm going to get all kinds of questions afterwards in the message section that I'm going to respond to. Hey, CTI Geek, good morning to you in Virginia. Yeah, the hat command isn't working today. I've got to work on that. Took 3 years to get Blazer Insurance Broker System running. It went live in September and running flawlessly. That's awesome, DJ Vortex. Congratulations to you. A call-in radio host is more like screensavers on steroids. Yes. TypeScript is like C#. Yep. You're looking into AZ204 for a future cert as a developer, but I'm kind of looking for some small projects that get some basics of Azure deployments and CI/CD type stuff. Cool. I feel that I lack the skills to talk about those things in an interview. There's a lot of free services that you can start up and use on Azure. And the Azure courses on Learn have a sandbox, have a free space that you can drop into and work on. It's really good. CI/CD stuff is a whole nother kettle of fish. Nobody gets that right. Like, nobody gets it right the first time, and everybody's CI/CD is different. That's just the thing. So, C# in the cards. There's another place I've got episodes I've got to upload and get running there, yeah. If you're starting with C# or anything ASP.NET, recommend to subscribe to O'Reilly Books or grab some solid books you can build a project on. I'm not sure. The O'Reilly books are good. I know many of the authors. I think the Learn content is up to date, and you'll be able to iterate through that a bit. You found talking at Tech Conference way more nerve-wracking than DJing. Fair. That's fair. Yeah. So. Let's see here. There we go. Hey, Joe Carrasco, what is Fritz's take on vibe coding? I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'm happy to go through this again. Vibe coding in its purest sense, where you're not actually writing any code and you're trusting the AI to generate code for you and to check it and to do those things, not great. You're putting too much trust in the hands of the AI. I think there's a place where, as we did a lot during yesterday's stream, ask the AI to do a little bit of work in a focused place. Inspect, interact with that. I think the AI does a fantastic job summarizing, generating documentation for us, building tests for us. I showed on Monday how we can use the AI to build Playwright tests. Those are tests that actually navigate the browser, and use that with .NET Aspire so that we can generate end-to-end tests from a very simple description, some prose description of what we want to test, or maybe it's a requirement, or maybe a bug report, to be able to turn that into a full end-to-end test that actually inspects and navigates around the application and generates some tests that we can include in our CI/CD cycles. That's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing that we can lean into. And it also gives us, I'm going to go back to, there was a great quote for yesterday. Those tests, they're the bubble wrap that'll lead us to fearless coding. So, yeah. So I'm not a fan of pure vibe coding, but getting in, reviewing, modifying, adapting, and growing code as the AI delivers it, pretty good. You love to write tests? Hey, I think that speaks towards, let's use the AI to eliminate those things, to have it do the things that bother us and are the things that we don't want to do, right? I don't like generating API documentation. Building and maintaining a README for this open source project is, I can never do it good enough. Let the AI do that. Let the AI do it. Thank you so much. That was Friendly Creative. Oh, it scrolled off my screen. Friendly Creative Seal. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. How you doing there? You need to practice with mock stuff often? Okay. Bubble wrap, yeah. What's my dev vibe? Fear development or fearless code confidence? Documentation like code rots with time. Yes, and that's where I think let the AI update the documentation for you. Hey, I finished building this thing. I'm getting ready to merge in a pull request. Generate the updates to the documentation. Let the AI do that. Then merge in the whole smash all at once. Let's see here. Read before reading on stream. Yes. That is yes. When you're using the AI to work with things in the Microsoft tech stack, but it's not just the tech stack, the Microsoft stack. I think this happens in all of the tech stacks. The things that the latest features, libraries, the AI doesn't know them yet. You're good. The models need to iterate, update, and then you'll see that they do have better information about these things. Working with Blazor with GPT 3.5 was awful. Working with Blazor with Claude 3.5 and 3.7, pretty good. But it's also a newer model that has better training because it's got more data that it's consumed. Frank says, I took my word for it, Fritz's word for it, and included 88 unit tests, co-written with Copilot, added them to Frank's CI/CD, merged it to main a few minutes ago. Terrific. That's great. Let me change hats here. Let me go to, speaking of Azure things, let me go to this hat that one of the Azure teams gave me. This is a hat that the Redis team was giving out. I'm like, could you make the icon a little smaller? Yeah, the hat command isn't working today. The bot's having issues connecting to OBS. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, this is a Redis hat. Now let's put it in. Yeah, I like it. That's better. There we go. So, happens more often with the Microsoft tech stack due to a lot of the learning material being stuck behind paywalled media? No. Disagree. The Learn materials, not only are the Learn materials available on Learn Microsoft Com and they're free to access, you don't have to log in or anything, they're also available in Markdown on GitHub. Free and open source there. Like, you can go to GitHub and look up and find the content there. So, a 9-legged square spider. Yes. Always Team Azure, not Team AWS. Well, thank you, Joe. That's kind to hear. Let me see here. So, let me get back over. Let's head back over to the code and let's iterate. Let's dive in a bit here. So, previously, where I did this with Copilot yesterday, where, hey, look at that! I was running my tag yesterday. We're not going to do that today, because I'm not ready to talk about that just yet. Right? I need to go to SharpSite. Cool. Right, I'm gonna run code here and we'll dive in. And I've been cheating and setting up chat over here. And we started talking through this idea of having plugins available on the system, not necessarily installed. And we're going to talk through and expand on that. You've been kicking around a thought, convert existing code base, those MDs, PDF books, into a knowledge graph and have that feed into RAG with LLM. You're not too far off, Eric. Have I tried edit the CLI text editor? I have not. No. But I forget. Did edit CLI text editor. Edit is now open source. Windows command line. How to install and use Microsoft Edit. It's kind of frustrating that the second article about how to install and use isn't a Microsoft one. Releases, like, I don't want to go, I'm not familiar with that website, so I don't want to go there. Oh yes, this is the throwback to the old QBasic editor. Yeah. Yeah. Why? Like, I get it. They built this and that's fun. Yeah. Right. Winget install Microsoft Edit. Yeah. Not my cup of tea right now. I'll stick with Visual Studio Code for right now. So we started talking through this process of being able to add plugins without installing them. And this is going to run into a very interesting place where we're going to upload plugins, but not necessarily activate them. I don't know if this is someplace that I want to go down just yet, and if it might be a little bit of a distraction from the tasks that I'm trying to complete to allow the initial load install process to be completed. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more this is a distraction for right now. So I'm going to create an issue so that we can come back to this, because it is something we want to do, but I want to isolate this a little bit further and finish the current task before we get distracted down that path. Allow plugins. What am I doing? Allow plugins to be uploaded and not installed. It should be possible to upload plugins to SharpSite and choose at a later time to install them. Period. This also means that we should be able to deactivate plugins without uninstalling them. Period. New line. New line. New line. This will be very helpful when we're installing a new instance of SharpSite and people want to be able to choose a database provider plugin. Cool. This is definitely an enhancement. It is going to be epic. It's not a plugin feature so much. So, all right, let's create that. Oh, did it? No. Oh, darn it. There's that. There we go. All right. How much of Copilot do developers at Microsoft use? A lot. A lot. The leadership is actively encouraging us to use more and more Copilot, not just GitHub Copilot, but the other Copilots on a regular basis, so that we can give feedback on the product, and so that we can do more by allowing Copilot to drive some of these things. I think dictating and building this is tremendous. This needs to be broken down into many sub-issues. Many. And we'll see how we can, at that time, get the AI to generate some of these things here. Yep, that's a link to... I'll put a project command here. If you're watching on YouTube, the link to the SharpSite website is in the description. So I'm working on finishing the setup experience for SharpSite. HTTPS SharpSite.org. There we go. And maybe we work on Copilot that John on stream a little bit. Not today, but in the future. There's so many projects we're working on and bouncing back and forth on here on stream. I know there's folks that are like, hey, when are you going to do more on TagsApp? We're definitely going to do more on TagsApp this summer. I think there's a whole bunch of features that we're going to bring into TagsApp so that it has some very cool capabilities for .NET Conf in the fall. Yeah. What's the topic for today? I'm backing out of what this started doing with the plugin manager. I'm gonna oh, really? Oh, okay, fine. Restart that extension. That's fine with me. What do you mean you don't know what it is? What do you mean? Come on now. Tell me the files that are changed here, and I'm going to roll back. Ads have started for the next minute and a half there on Twitch. Quick! Ask me questions that the folks who aren't subscribed to won't get the answers to. Today? Really? Show me the graph then. Yeah. I thought, was there a work in progress that I committed yesterday? Yeah, let's roll back and ditch this. Get checkout. Right, get checkout. Yeah. 8 Charlie 2 Alpha Charlie Baker. No, go back. That was... There's get status. Right, I want I want to ditch... I forget how to ditch the right? Get checkout, discard a commit. I forget how to do that. Get reset hard. Right, I was on Spike, database plugin, which I think is successful. All right, let's do get reset hard, 8 Charlie 2 Alpha Charlie Baker 4. There we go. And we're going to dump that. Cool. All right. So we are reset. Yeah, Copilot could tell me. Sure. Right? I could probably even ask the Copilot chat to do that, and it would. But I don't think that's a concern we want to work on right now. So, all right, moving forward. Oh, okay, it's just the post announcing. Okay. So we know from the analysis that Copilot reported to us exactly how the database components are registered inside the application. They're registered in there, so we don't have to call this registration here. And when it's registered, this will apply the database migrations. We don't need to do the Aspire things to have the database migration process hanging out there, right? All of that stuff then for not documentation, not plugins. Down in here. Why is that up here? Why are you up there? You should be down here. We're waiting. Really? I don't know what this is doing, but what's that? There's nothing there. All right. Come back over here. This. Is it? Yeah, it is. Move, sharp sight, abstractions. Permission not available. It's me that's doing it, so I don't know what you're complaining about. There it is, moved. Pain in the neck. All right. It's 2 files. 2 files. Anyways, although those projects that have references to it now are going to get grouchy. Abstractions, data storage. Let's see. Yeah, and the solution is going to be grouchy as well. That's okay. That's not. Yeah. Okay. Down here. Yep. Okay. I think now I got to fix the solution, because the solution is going to say, I don't know where this is. Add existing project. And it's down in here, there. What? I just told you where it was. No. Remove that. Yeah. Okay. It's not down there. Add existing project. Oh, okay. Probably because I wonder if the bad reference was still out there and it was moving it around or something. I don't know. Fixed. Fixed. That's the important part. Next. Close this. Going the rabbit hole that happens when you move one project. Yeah. Code's on a different drive. What's up with that? I'm using Dev Drive. So that all of my projects are over here. This is just a VHD that's mounted that has some optimizations built for it. So, Dev Drive. Where to go? Developer mode, create a Dev Drive. Optimized for performance and developer scenarios. So it's a new form of storage volume available to improve performance for key developer workloads. It's built on REFS technology to employ targeted file system optimizations and provide more control over storage volume settings and security. Trust designations, antivirus designations, and administrative control over what filters are attached. Right, we're debugging and running things over here, and if you had all of this stuff sitting under your personal folder, there's different security settings that are applied to that as far as things being able to execute. So by moving this over and placing it on its own dedicated space that has these configuration options applied to it, kind of works out nicely. So I'll share this link if folks want to learn more about DevDrive. I don't have this set up as a partition. I have it set up as a VHD. A partition will have faster performance, but you're also repartitioning the drive. So I typically use VHDs for these, and I have a VHD that I use for this, a virtual hard drive that I use for this on my laptop as well. So yeah, it's not recommended to copy it, move it, do anything with it. So, and I've allocated 50 gig for my dev drives. So, I don't want to create one, but there it is right there. Dev drive. Microsoft Virtual Disk. So I allocated 10 gig for this one. I'm not bad. And it's plenty of space. Oh shoot, why don't you show me? That doesn't matter. But I've got plenty of space for it. Yeah. Put it somewhere else so it doesn't touch the personal Windows system. Done. Do not put that VHD somewhere that OneDrive will archive it and maintain it. Because trying to back up and pass that 10 gig VHD around or 50 gig VHD around is going to cause problems. Don't do that. Place it somewhere else. Your backup for your dev drive is GitHub, right? It's GitHub, it's Azure DevOps, it's whatever offsite source control system that you're using. That's your backup. Don't put your developer stuff on OneDrive. Use source control for that. Because, right, if OneDrive is trying to back your stuff up, every time that you do a build, OneDrive is going to run and try and push all of those DLLs and EXEs and PDBs in our .NET build process over to OneDrive and resync that stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do I ever find myself having projects that I could end up reusing with different solutions? Yes. Should those be considered to become NuGets? Yes. Hat command isn't working today. There's an issue with it connecting to OBS that I need to work through. But yes, there's absolutely, and the demo that I showed the other day. Nope, not that one. That one. The demo I showed the other day. What is it? Playwright Aspire demo. Yeah, this John. There's a couple pieces inside my unit tests here that manage Aspire. Yeah, you go away. And manage my interactions with Playwright. And finally, my base fixture, I would pick these up and move them into a NuGet. I would move them into a NuGet package because I'm going to start using this pattern more and more. And you can see the video of me talking this through. You go away. Talking this through on Monday. So I still haven't gotten feedback on what happened to the video of that session at Build. Oh God. What? Okay. Anyways, yeah, so we haven't been able to find the recording of that, so you don't have an issue with OneDrive? You like the point-in-time restore capability? That's what your source control is supposed to do for you. So, okay. So, close this out. Don't need this. There we go. Back over here. How am I doing on time? We should wrap up sooner than later. Maybe at the top of the hour. This next piece that we need to fix is setting up security capabilities. This is a little bit bigger problem. We moved all the security interactions into this project. Yeah. Let's throw it at this entire folder. So what is that? That is source, sharp site, secured, really? No. I wanted to jump down into, right, if I go source, do I have to do backslash? It's still not there. All right. Sharp site. There it was. Okay, so it'll let me navigate directly to that folder. Sure. Have I used, since I use, not Playground, Playwright, have I used Cypress? I have not used Cypress. However, folks that I've talked to who have used both say Playwright is head and shoulders better than Cypress. So, all right, let's close this and let's ask it. We previously abstracted the security capabilities for the Blazor application into the sharpsite.security.postgres project. Period. How should we refactor this so that it behaves like a plugin and we can swap out implementations of security storage? All right, we've got some work to do cleaning this up. And it's not Postgres. Dear Lord. Let's also... Yeah, that's fine. And let's turn this into ask mode and see what it recommends and identifies for us here as possibilities to go forward. So, let's create an abstract security plugin interface in the core abstractions. Okay, that feels right. iSecurity plugin and okay. A base security configuration class with configuration string require confirmed account, disable retry. Okay. Refactor Postgres security implementation to use the plugin interface. Yeah. So this becomes a plugin. Part of the plugin. Map endpoints, migrate database. Initialize roles and users. Update program CS to use the plugin. New Postgres security plugin, configure services. And then this is the part down here. Give it back that. Security, yeah. Give it back that folder. What about the Razor files in the project, in the security project? Some of those are tightly coupled to our Postgres implementation. Is there a way to abstract, to add a layer of abstraction so that we can use them with different security storage options in the future? Let's see what it suggests. Yes. Eric makes a great point there. Playwright has different language support also, not just Node and TypeScript, but Java, .NET, Python. So there's a bunch of options that you do have there. Hey, Jedi Mega Man, if something can be head and shoulders better than a thing, can another thing be knees and toes worse? You might be onto something there. Yeah. We can abstract the Razor components from the security implementation. We can restructure this by creating a Razor class lib. Create base models for the security UI. Create new security service interfaces. Oh. Move Razor components to the UI project and make them storage agnostic. Create a Postgres implementation of the security service. Okay, this feels very doable. And upgrade program CS to use those new UI components. Okay. For SQL Server. Oh, if we wanted to do SQL Server, yes. Okay. This feels very doable. Ads start in 5 minutes here. VBA automation. You have to go down the rabbit hole. Why is there... Yeah. No, there's different things for different folks. Let me see here. God. All right, moving on. Did I miss anything? No. Good. So where do we want to go here? Do I want it to start implementing these and pulling this out? I like these suggestions. How can we use the two together? Create the security data plugin, right? For Postgres, and add a Razor class library for the user interface, for the security user interface. I think the security user interface needs to be optional, because if you're using a service like Entra or some other OAuth capability, we're going to want to be able to configure that and do that differently. But can those even be inside the project? So it has options here. It's talking through. So it wants SharpSite security. I thought I already had a security abstractions. No, I don't. And I would name it SharpSite abstractions security. I know there's other products that put abstractions at the end so that you have, here's the area that it's in. I think abstractions should be in the second position here. Shampoo without tears, and it contains mint or menthol. I don't believe in shampoo without tears at all. I don't think that's a thing. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Would it make sense to merge these security Razor files and concerns back into the web project? Maybe. What do we got? Not be advisable to merge them back in. It allows us to keep separation of concerns, modularity and reusability, plugin architecture benefits. Create clear abstractions for them. I like this. I like this. That makes sense to me as well. And it gives us easier testing. Okay. Can plugins be hot swapped? Yes. Thinking of a ChatGPT-like app, but I want to be able to swap provider model. Oh yeah, Eric. We've got that built already. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't we add in the README point features we would like? Installable templates for theming and plugins like. I think I already have something like that. Core features, planned features. I don't have templates listed. Custom theme development kit. But templates, yeah, definitely. Installable templates for theming and plugins, yes. Hey, don't panic. Have I heard about the Builder AI scam? No, help me out with that. What do you got? Let me close this out. I could let the agent go to town iterating on this. Is it one of the companies that turned out to be Indian engineers? I've heard. I thought that was just a joke. I thought this was a joke. Let me back out here because is this real that there is an AI company that turns out it's just a bunch of Indian engineers? Is that really a thing? Because I did see that message. What? But I didn't think that was real. I thought that was somebody pulling a fast one here. ChatGPT is just that dude from South Park in the back computer room with... It's gone bankrupt now. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? This can't be real. AI company turns out to be a team of Indian engineers. London-based Builder AI, once valued at $1.5 billion and backed by Microsoft and Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, has filed for bankruptcy after reports that its AI-powered app development platform was actually operated by Indian engineers, said to be 700 of them pretending to be artificial intelligence. Oh my lord. Natasha, an AI, really? An AI app building, where'd it go? Building platform from London-based Builder AI claimed it had the ability to use artificial intelligence to create applications. Promised to pump out programs in record time. Microsoft backed it with a $455 million investment, leading to a valuation of $1.5 billion. And it was going towards paying a workforce of over 700 Indian engineers rather than AI. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The farce lasted for 8 years, getting exposed in May 2025. Are you kidding me? Can we zoom in a little bit and lose some of these ads? Can you go away? Documents reviewed by Bloomberg showed that Builder was also working with Verse, an Indian-based social media startup, to falsely increase its sales numbers. This happens more than this happens in a lot of places. There are folks on this platform, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Twitch, who pay for viewers to inflate their numbers, particularly folks in the developer relations space. I do not do this. I have never paid for viewers. I've marketed so that I get more viewers, but I have never paid anyone to add viewers to my YouTube or Twitch channels. I have never done that. I don't know why the sound effects and things aren't playing here. I know people who have, but this happens a lot, and particularly in the DevRel space, where your number of viewers, your number of followers, is part of your metrics. You didn't increase your number of followers by 10% this month? That's a knock against you. So folks will say, you know what, if it costs me $50 to increase to buy viewers, do it. Why not? So, have I ever covered or aware of any material for pen testing Blazor apps? I would definitely. Pen testing is a whole nother ball of wax than end-to-end testing or integration testing. I'm not familiar with pen testing tools in general. Don't panic. I agree. I don't understand how Microsoft fell for it either. There's due diligence there that should have happened, that looked at the models that they were building and using and verified. And that feels like there's some lawyers and folks there that have some questions to answer. Steve has a new idea for an AI company. Where do I submit the request for multi-million-dollar grant at Microsoft? You used OWASP Zap for traditional sites, but Blazor, I've heard of Zap. I haven't used it at all. Okay, let me head back. I want to let Copilot run on this, but I don't want to spend the rest of our time together doing this. Let's, is there a way that I can save this for later? Chat with extension. Oh, yeah. Yeah, is there a way that I can, like, save this for later? No. Like, it is listed in, like, historical chats. Yeah. One second here. All right. Let's go into this one. Remove the Postgres database migration project from the app host. Let's see how it does with that. Copy paste it to Word. Maybe. Oh, I'm still in ask mode. Stop. Actually do that. Like, go do that again. But actually do that. So, Blazor isn't that different. There's the additional concerns that you might have with Blazor in doing pen testing are going to be around how it does the communications back and forth to the server. Whether that's using an API or using with the Blazor Server Interactive using WebSockets and some of those technologies. So that's a whole different thing. No, that isn't how you do that. No. Let's see where it goes. Pen testing any web app starts with Kaido, Burp Suite, or Zap. Those are the primary tools. Cool. I'm familiar with Zap. That's the one that I've heard of. I had somebody ask me to do some security validation, and they wanted me to use Zap to go through it. And I was like, I'm sorry, this isn't my specialty. Here's somebody else that I recommend you talk to who does specialize in these kind of site security types of interactions. One second here. All right. Not thrilled with where you're going here, friend. Not thrilled with where you're going there. Let's back out of that. Come back in here, undo that. I'm okay with it doing this. Come on now. Really? This shouldn't be too hard. What? I don't know what you're doing here, friend. Not in there, but up in here. Postgres extensions. Let's close some of these other ones over here that I'm not using. Close to the right. This, that, good. So there's the setup for the database. Database server, add database. There's the migration service. So did I already remove the migration service? I guess I did. Okay. What's the... Yeah, that's fine. Oh, dear Lord, that's awful. No. Moved sharp site abstractions data into source folder. Push that up. Let's run it. Sharp site, app host. Run that. Oh, here we go. Source, abstractions base. Where's that? Show me where that is. Yeah, where's that project referenced? Great. Down in here. I don't need to go up. Go up. Sharp side abstraction space. That should work. Build it again. Yeah, there we go. All right. So if we .NET Watch, it should run. ETH broke. Holy smokes. The default developer certificate is out of date. Yeah. Fine. I wonder if that's what happened across the board on my machine. We love Aspire. Yeah. Yeah. Aspire is some great stuff. There it goes. I bet you that's... And Mozilla Firefox is upset. Oh, I don't know what this certificate is. Okay, so the database migration stuff is no longer part of this. Okay. Good. And really? You're not going to let me into PG admin? Running and unhealthy. Why not? Loading servers. Yeah. Yeah, Postgres extension. This one. PG admin persistent, so it should start and just hang out there. Yeah, now it's running. Yeah, no, we can get there. Version 9.2 of PG admin 4 should be on 9.4. Yeah, whatever. Databases. Postgres and SharpSite. Public tables. There they are. Would I have other projects wait on database to be ready? Yes. Yes. So the website, I want to make sure that it waits for the database to be running to start. And this is a mechanism we put in place for how we're running tests currently in the production space. Running with a test mode that allows us to... Oh, I did it. Right, that allows us to start the database server just to run during this session so it shuts down. Otherwise, when I'm developing and working locally, keep it running the whole time. You don't need to stop and restart the database every time. So... and there's something else that I put in also. I can remove this now. Right? I should take down an issue for refactor the playwright tests to use the playwright/aspire technique. Really? Use the same technique that Fritz demoed in his session at Microsoft Build 2025 to orchestrate both Aspire and Playwright from the same set of XUnit tests. Oh, there we go. And we'll figure that out at some point. Let me call it here. We didn't get too much code written. We went through, we explored a couple things. I think there's a handful of things that I want to go through and apply. And quite frankly, it's such a big change with how we want to get security migrated and working going forward that I'm going to let the AI run on it. And that's not something that's going to be interesting and fun to do here on stream. I have a couple other things that I need to get to today. And the follow-up after that AI run to update all of those security pieces and move around those projects is going to be a little bit of investigation that I don't have time for today on stream. So let me come back to that another time, and another time being tomorrow. But for now, let's call it a stream. Let me answer a couple questions as I'm wrapping up here. It's faster to talk than type a message. Totally agree. When I'm generating specifications or notes on something or filing an issue, it is so much faster to open up the Windows dictation tool and just dictate and let it copy in that text. It's faster, easier, and quite frankly, when I'm here on stream, you don't want to watch me type, and particularly in those things, filing issues, generating Copilot prompts. Like, let's just dictate those and let it go out there and talk through that thought process of what that delivers. On YouTube, Carl asks, what PC am I developing on? This is a custom-built PC that I got at my local Micro Center that has an AMD Ryzen. Let me make sure I get this right. It is. No. This is a Ryzen 9 5900 that I'm using. 64 gig of RAM, and I have a NVIDIA GeForce 3070 card on it that I'm developing, that I'm using. I also have an AverMedia capture card that is providing this camera and some of my other cameras that I have here in the studio that I'm not using. I haven't used in a while, and we are going to be using in late June and for a bit of July as I get back into doing more work at the full-size studio at the other half of the room here. So that's something I'm looking forward to getting back running there. Maybe working in English but not other languages. Doing the dictation, it should work. Dictating in Windows and having it type should work in other languages. I know there is a bit of language prejudice in the AI world for English. There's a preference for English in AI. And that's something that I know there are different groups working on. So, let me take a look at who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network. Who can I get you connected to? If you're watching on YouTube, of course, I've got lots of great videos down below over to the side here that you can check out. Taking a look here, I'm going to get you connected with... Really? I don't see any other of the friendly software streamers out here. This cannot be. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to wrap it up here then. I won't do a raid. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be working on the coding on this project. I've got some other things that I'm working on, some other content, some other videos that I'm writing and putting together, updates to tutorials throughout the day today and tomorrow. So I hope you have a fantastic day. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.